So
what else do we have news-wise?
Well, you mentioned it earlier, and I wanted to segue to it so bad, but I resisted doing it because, one, Allie probably would murder me in my sleep because we got things out of order. As I just moved something out of order here. How about those Lakers? GTA parent company has licensed a couple movie titles for movie adaptations. I love that title. It tells us exactly what's going to happen and then reiterates what's going to happen. I love it.
They're even specific, a couple.
Yes. Some of Take-Two's Interactive's most popular franchise might soon be turned into horrible movies, according to the report. MCV reports that the company has licensed some of its IP for potential film adaptations. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick. I'm going to make that. Zelnick.
Yeah. I think that's right.
I like the other way first. Said the company will not be using any of its own money to fund these films and TV projects. Take-Two is instead more interested in having creative control over the final products they've licensed. Zelnick also mentioned just how unsuccessful most video game movies have been thus far. This is one of the main reasons why Take-Two won't fund these movies and why it doesn't have anything to announce beyond these licensing deals, according to Zelnick. If other people want to license them and we retain creative control, we're open-minded, Zelnick told MCV. The track record of conversion of video game IP to motion pictures is spotty at best. The IPs include Bioshock, Mafia, Rockstar Games titles, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption. So,
Red Dead and Bioshock.
Red Dead, Bioshock, and I think, if you do it right, I think Grand Theft Auto could be a really, really fun movie.
Are we going to follow Nico Bellic?
You get like a Kevin Hart and a Rock in there. It's sold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
what about an L.A. Noir series?
Ooh, that would be awesome. Like, that could be an awesome Netflix series. Mm-hmm. Like, I think Netflix would pick that up in a heartbeat. A beat of a heart.
That would be something that I would binge. Like, no doubt whatsoever.
I made a joke to Derek, but I do kind of like where they're going with, like, no money will come out of our pockets to make these. My joke was that he's taking a page out of Trump's book with the whole wall building. But I do like where they're going with that they don't have anything to announce right now, and if someone wants to go forward with this, just be like, hey, hit me on my cell phone.
I mean, it's smart on their end to do that, because it's even mentioned in the article, video game movies have not been successful.
Yeah.
So why throw a bunch of money at something that has a high likelihood of not succeeding?
It's a smart business move, and I agree with it 100%. And finding a company that's going to deal with them having creative control is going to be interesting for them. But if they find somebody, then it's going to work really well.
Yeah.
Now, on to our next story. Valve ending Steam Greenlight, replacing it with Steam Direct. Valve is putting an end to its Steam Greenlight program later this year. In its place, Valve is introducing a new service called Steam Direct. Steam Direct is a new direct sign-up system for developers seeking to put games on Steam. A new application fee required for submission of new content will decrease the noise in the submission pipeline, according to Valve. A common complaint against Steam and Greenlight is a lack of quality control in the games available on the service. Currently, Valve is working with developers to come up with an appropriate fee, with the responses coming back as low as $100 per game and as high as $5,000. We'd like to gather more feedback before settling on a number, it said. While Valve considers the Greenlight program a success, it suffered from two major problems Valve needed to fix: improving the entire pipeline from bringing new content to Steam and connecting consumers with types of content they wanted. On the first anniversary of Steam Greenlight back in 2013, Valve's Gabe Newell said the ultimate goal of program was to eliminate bottlenecks between developers and consumer. Last month, well, no, that is not important. Did y'all know over half the games on Steam were released last year?
I did not.
I did not.
Freaking ridiculous. Like, it is absurd, and it is crap. It is utter crap. There's a few gems in there, but the amount of junk. If your service has been around for as long as Steam has, and it used to have this, like Steam used to be a cultivator of good quality stuff, and then they made this program, Greenlight, and it's just been awful. People are getting asset flips of, oh, here's a game, here's all the assets, do what you want with it, and then they pretty much put the same game out. And there's been several companies that have done this, that have taken the same game, changed the name, and re-uploaded it to Steam Greenlight. And they're getting these unwitting people to pay money for it.
Yep.
Like, I know we're a consumerist market, and I know that the consumer has the power and everything, and if they're dumb enough not to be informed on what they're getting, then it's their fault. But at the same time, this company should be protecting the consumers.
Yeah.
And they
I agree.
even put in a policy where you can return the games you get because people are getting screwed over all the time. That's a problem.
And I very seldom used Steam on my computers.
Same here.
I played, I had maybe 8 games, but like I would go and look at all the different games, and I'm like, I would watch the videos to see if it was something that I'd be interested back when I was bigger into Steam. And it just looked like the same thing over and over and over again. And you can't keep putting crap out. If you're going to polish a turd and release it, guess what?
It's still a turd.
It's still a turd.
No, I agree.
Like, I'm glad they're taking steps to try to fix the problem, but it seems like they're just renaming the program and putting a pay gate in front of it to help hopefully solve some of those problems. But it's not going to solve some of them. If it's $100 fee, they'll throw $100 to get $500 off of a crap game. So it's just really annoys me that Steam is not taking the initiative to actually put people over quality control on what's being put on their platform. And they're not the only ones. PlayStation Network is doing the same thing. Xbox is doing the same thing. They're getting crap games that are put out there like Black Tiger. If y'all have not seen this thing, it is god awful, and it needs to stop, because you're going to get these places where there's so much noise, you're not going to know what's happening, you're not going to know what's coming out, and there's people that are not informed. They're not watching shows like ours or Kind of Funny or Jim Sterling's show. They're just like, oh, I want a new game, and it's just it's Life of Black Tiger. Sorry, Life of Black Tiger. And it's absurd. It's absurd that this kind of stuff is going on when they have the manpower, when they have the money, and if they do that, then it's going to increase their product. They're gonna get more people involved. They're going to get more people actually paying for good things, and they're going to be happy. You're not going to get pissed off customers. Like, I know you've lived in the market where you've had to like sell people stuff and fast food and everything. Are pissed off customers your favorite thing to deal with?
No, I've dealt with them in that telemarketing, and if you sell them something bad, guess what? They're going to throw it back in your face, and that looks horrible.
Yeah, that is a game that's on Steam, and it is on PlayStation. Life of Black Tiger.
It literally looks like something I'd play on my PlayStation Night 2.
It's ridiculous.
And still hate it.
It would still be a bad game back then. Sorry, I got on my soapbox.
No, I mean, I 100% agree with you. You can't keep putting out crap, because that's going to make everything else that you put out less credible. And people, fool me once, shame on you. But fool me twice, shame on me. People aren't going to go in a second time and trust your stuff. And, I mean, you can't build a reputable market with doing crap like this. And I think we need to go back to back in the day when everything was screened a lot better for potential duds and crap games. Because like you said, like I did not know the stat about Steam, and half the games that were like that's ridiculous, because I bet you that it's about 100 of those games are the same one.
Yeah.
Just a different texture put on them.
Yeah, and one company that's really good about quality control is Nintendo.
Yeah.
And they've been that way for years. Even back on the NES, they wouldn't allow a company to release they would only allow a certain number every year. So companies made different companies so they could release more games. And yes, there are bad games out there, but they were, pruning the bush so people weren't getting bombarded with all this crap. And it's hard to play everything that we have these days. Like there's so much going on that there's no way you can play everything. So you just kind of got to pick what you're most interested in.
Yep.
And a game that I'm most interested in, Horizon Zero Frickin' Dawn. That's not the real title, but that is what I'm calling it right now. Coming out this month. Some information came out. Horizon Zero Dawn map leaks, and it's enormous. The full map of Guerrilla Games' upcoming open-world action game, Horizon Zero Dawn, has reportedly leaked, showcasing the game's massive open world. So, spoiler alert, if you don't want any of this,
don't look.
Don't look. Like, look at that thing.
Oh, I know. I saw it. It looks
like
that's big.
That is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
The big, beautiful kids.
Ugh. This is going to be a game that makes people go out and buy a PlayStation. I don't know. Of the people who don't have PlayStations, I mean, you're ridiculous. You need to go get one.
Yeah. Robbie.
Especially those that are on this podcast.
Yeah.
If you can't take a jab yourself.
I'm excited for it. The map looks huge. It's coming out on February 28th in North America, Go America, and March 1st in the UK. So
it'll be huge.
Huge. So that is my number one for the month. I did a top 5 games for February 2017, doing quite well over on the Facebook.
Yeah, it is.
I've got over 4,000 views.
Sweet.
So I'm very excited about that. Very, very excited. Look at that. It's just beautiful.
It is.
It's just beautiful.